Peace, family. So, I wanted to share a story with you guys. Um, and before I jump into the story, I want to say that the story is, it is a dream that I had some time ago, at some point in time. Um, Way when I was a child or something like that, I believe. But before I get into the story, I want to talk about dreams. So, what is a dream? And most sources or resources and things that you would use to find out or search the word dream, the definition of the word would be somewhere in the realm of imagination or something that's not real or an illusion. But some people would also say that this world is an illusion. That when we sleep and go to sleep and receive those messages and stuff, because we are, as human beings, some of us, because I do believe that not all people here are human beings. There are a lot of synthetic people or synthetic beings here on the planet. But for human beings, being that we are triplicate beings, meaning we consist of a body, spirit, and a soul. I like to interchange the word soul and mind, because the mind to me is the house of the soul. The mind is not a physical place, although some would say that it's located in a physical location, your brain, or your head. But if you look deeper into history, if you look deeper into history, you would see like dreams were visions. They were, sometimes divine messages, things like that, where people became enlightened. They learned things that the average man wasn't able to pick up on, possibly due to a difference in the ability to use the pineal gland or having a functioning pineal gland as such. But back then, dreams were looked at as visions. They told you something about yourself. They told you something about your surroundings. They gave you an idea about maybe what was going on in your mind to help you answer questions, So, with that being said, this is a dream that I had years ago when I was a child. I recall having a very vivid, wind in your face kind of dream. The dreams where, if you remember, you are held in a state of like certain excitement, where you must know its meaning. Like you have to know what it means. You have to seek it out. Like, man, what was that about? One of those kind of dreams. This was one such dream, and though I experienced the events in the dream, the fact that it happened many years ago and all the details are still fresh in my mind, I like to think of it as an answering to a question pondered by my mind subconsciously, a riddle to move closer to the path begun by my own soul, or mission in this experience of life. The question was recollected, and that question was, who am I? This was a question that I asked myself. This answer was given to me by my ancestors in the form of a vision, which was this dream. And this vision was such: somewhere on the mother continent in Alkebulan or Africa, whichever way you like to call it, there crept a creature who hissed, or who kissed the skin of the earth as it benefited from her warm core. Now, some of this I put in to help me, give you the visualization of what I saw in a dream, how I experienced it. And it sounds kind of poetic with some of it, but that's just because I'm a poet. You feel me? That may not be some people's things, but yeah, if it sounds like a poem or something like that, it sounds kind of poetic. It's because that's how I do. So, there crept a creature who kissed the skin of the earth as it benefited from her warm core, her inner sun. Being so close to her and her only, it learned every secret contained in her womb. For being ever so attached to the surface of her pregnant womb, the subtle vibrations of the ever-active but dormant sun was felt. Every intention, every desire, every curiosity and sense of wonder, creating thought forms and possibilities to be explored by the falling or incoming consciousness, mingled with the universal life, breath, or spirit. Being chosen as the keeper of her secrets, it was made to possess fearsome as well as repulsive characteristics and features. She gave it eyes that saw the world on constant view, never to rest, forever on watch for the unworthy soul who wanders too close to truth. It was given the ability to witness the mother's warmth in others as she lured them nearer so that it may consume her and retain her warmth for sustenance. Being such a creature of unusual proportion and unpredictable nature, only those who were initiated or granted access to those secrets through exploring the depths of the nature of their being or their soul could pass them unharmed and explore our mother's secrets of her unborn son. This vision was brought to me by one of my mother's creatures and became the spark of my own incarnation, the underlying idea of my reality. Steadily moving across the grass-patched plains of Mother Savannah, there crept one of her most ancient creatures, reflecting the sun's life-giving rays off of its hard yet smooth, leathery feeling hide, giving back to the rest of her creatures a small infusion of its subtle knowledge through the curiosities or through the nutritious streams of light. The creature squirmed as I felt each and every one of its movements, being as if one with it, though seeing as if slightly above its head, as if hovering over its body, or standing atop its head, similar to that of the pure Indian god Shiva, riding the many-headed serpent hood. Soon came a village of African children of a varied tribe in a gather. So the snake was slithering amongst the plains. This is my dream. I was like above the snake's head, almost like I was not necessarily seeing through the snake's eyes, but I could feel its movements. So it's like I acted for the snake, or like I was the snake's consciousness, moving. That's how it felt, as if I was the one doing the work, but I can clearly see the top of the snake's head. So that's what it's explaining here. I just wrote it down like a story, like so I can relay it and make it interesting, or so that you guys can kind of see and visualize with me. So he came upon a village of African children of a varied tribe in a gathering. There were many children huddled together, as if sharing secrets or listening. All faced the direction, from which my emotion came. Though unaware of my presence, all faced us but one, a young boy child who seemed to be the source of the other children's attention. As the creature and I crept uncomfortably close to the young boy, the others caught a glimpse of our presence and went to warn the child of the unusually looking and strangely moving thing. It was too late. In the same instant as the boy turned to behold the creature sprung into the air with incredible agility and sank its deadly venomous teeth, filled with the toxic power of knowledge and wisdom, into the fold of the child's knee, instantly crippling and dropping the boy where he stood. At that moment, at that time of the contact of the venom in the bloodstream, my consciousness remained in a state of confusion. I no longer saw or moved nor breathed, as if still one with the scaly creature. All visionary experiences left me, and the world of matter I no longer saw, though I sensed the world around me auditorily. All was black for a brief moment, as if hyperspeeding through a pitch-black tunnel, though hard to say, as the blackness made any sense of direction a mystery. After a moment in the black hyperspace, I suddenly became visually aware of the world or mother. Only I saw I was not the creature whose blackish night slender form turned out to be a mighty king cobra, dead and without any further purpose or life. Again, becoming aware of the world, my mother of form, I looked upon the new clothing or vehicle I donned. I stood facing the before fearful and grievous children of the tribe, now bearing impressions upon their faces in the form of relieved, joyful, and astonished expressions. They witnessed the miracle happen in a split moment before their eyes. They witnessed a rebirth, a returning of a spirit into a properly prepared model, tailor-made to continue on its journey of consciousness development, or develop the further increasing of one's soul experience. This they understood through their elders' instruction in the vast wealth of studies and observance points of nature schools, God's intelligent design. They honored they were, and grateful that they could keep the mold they learned to love and know, while also being instructed by the gods further in comfort of peer view. So like they were glad to see that the child returned. So I kind of, when the snake bit him, or bit the boy, like me and the snake or whatever, when we bit the boy, We kind of, everything went black. Like I could still hear everything. I understood what was being said and people was talking and stuff or whatever, but I couldn't see the snake or the boy. I couldn't see anybody. I couldn't see anything. It was just dark. This is what was happening in the dream at that time. So when I was able to see again, instead of me being low to the ground and above the snake's head, I was able to see the snake, and the snake was lying dead on the floor. Whereas I was the child, I was looking at the snake as the child now that was bitten, and I was him. So it was like I transferred consciousness from the snake to the child, and then I became the child and was loved or adored and stuff, and was able to continue my conscious awareness. Like I was able to continue or pick up from where I left. Like I was aware of the transference of me going from one body or one vessel to another, where I became the boy instead of being the snake, so that's what that was about. And they were happy that they were still able to have the boy around, who was just a vessel that I was now housed in. They were happy that they were able to still have him around and grow with him because they grew up knowing him and stuff. But they also knew that something was different about him because he wasn't, he died. They saw him die. He died right there in front of them and came back to life, So thus the mark remained as a reminder of the great gift of God through the gods and mother's assistance. And the birth of the bronze oracle snake was, and again, his mission began, ever going from one cycle to the next until the time of awakening was again upon him. The time for reuniting with mother and father in the first heaven of the brilliant, luminous black light. And that's how I ended that dream. I do apologize for, the chop ups in the word, my writing, especially when I'm trying to record my dreams and stuff, or things that come back to me or have come back to me through synchronicities, which is pretty much ideas and events, images, things that symbol or are related, to thoughts that you may have, or a force of energy or something that may be leading you, So I first became aware of synchronicities when I started working with crystals and stuff. The very first crystal I started working with was Moldavite. That's the very first one that I felt something from. It's not the first one that I own. First crystal I owned was clear quartz. But the Moldavite, as soon as I didn't even touch the stone, it was inside a pendulum. And I grabbed the end of the silver pendulum with just my thumb and my pointer finger, and I felt the energy rush to me immediately. It was like having a fever without having the symptoms of a fever. My body became flush, my face became flush, and I was just like, whoa, like, what's that? So it got me to work with crystals and stuff more, to where, I understand. I've been working with them for some years now, since maybe the age of 24, 23 or something like that. I'm 31 now. So for some years now, and understanding the different properties and different combinations with other stones and metals and things like that. And it's helped me to understand a lot about myself, because I believe that excuse me, I believe that the self is the ultimate goal. The self is where everything lies. As far as your blueprint here in this space, in this time. Time here, as far as how we understand it, is irrelevant. This time that we work with is just to keep you on a cycle. It's to keep you busy. It's to keep you sleep when you're not supposed to be asleep. Like the later hours when spiritual activity, stuff like that comes up. Because I'm big on spirituality. Spirituality was here before religion started. It's where religion gets its basis from, where religion has stolen its foundation from, pretty much. It's the reason why it's so familiar to the masses of people that it rules, because deep down inside of them, spiritually or soulfully, they understand some of the principles and things that are taught in those religions to be of their own, minus the cultural differences and stuff, which is used to separate the people from the main understanding of what they understand before, that the spirit is in everything, that God is in everything. He's not seen, but he is seen. He's here, but he's not here. He's in everything, but he's not. You can't see him. You can't grab him or take him out of it. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling off a little bit. I love talking about metaphysics and things like that, and getting people to think about stuff. And a lot of people now, especially nowadays, I can imagine, are dreaming and having a lot of weird dreams about stuff, with the vaccines and all of that stuff going on. I seen I had a lot of dreams. Your dreams are more than what people tell you they are. Don't allow anyone to tell you that dreams are, they're make-believe or just your imagination. Don't ever let anyone tell you that your imagination is nothing, that it's childish or anything like that. For someone to put down the imagination, it shows how dead to the world they really are, inside, and outside. It's just your childish creativity and stuff like that. Your imagination is how you manifest. So when you lack an imagination, you lack ideas to propel yourself forward, or you lack ideas to create as you were meant to, with us being co-creators and everything like that. You have to look at it as us being in the image, the literal image of our Father, which is not physical. It's not a physical Father. This is the light, the Father of light, true light, space, infinite space. We have space all around us and inside of us. It manifests into different beings, different objects, different creatures. They all possess that same space within them, which is infinite, which is everywhere. The space between you and another person is an actual thing. Ideas, things like that float within that space and moves around, and it's inhaled and filtered out and absorbed and stuff as much as it can be. And it's received by those who can receive them, who understand those subtle influences and those subtle directives of nature and things like that. It's it's a very real living thing. It's in everything. So even things that are inanimate, you can give imagination to them. You can create them with your imagination. Your imagination is the blueprint. When you use your imagination to see it first, and then you take your hands, which are minds in themselves, and also gateways or dimensions. That's where their vortexes, the energy comes and goes through them. Constantly, they're always going. Those who can feel subtle influences and stuff, they can feel the I guess you can call it pressure, or it's like a difference in temperature swirling around their hands, where it feels, you notice the difference of cold air blowing around your hand and hot air coming out. Like you can feel the hot air or the heat protruding from your hands. Just because you can't prove that it's visible or you can't see it doesn't make it not real, doesn't make it a non-existing thing. Spirits and ghosts and things like that shouldn't be too hard to believe if people can believe church, or people can believe religion and stuff like that. And I find that to be the most oddest thing, of them all, is that the same people who are religious and who follow religion where supposedly spirits and ghosts and things like that are talked about, people being resurrected and brought back to life, where those things are discussed, you would think that those people would have more faith in the God they believe to protect them from the things going on now. You would think that there would be no fear of death. You would think that there would be no fear of any force coming against them or their God. That God would prevent it all. They would stop it all. And that would give, you would think that it would give people the willpower to stand up for what it is that they truly desire, that they truly believe in, mainly like the safety and protection and stuff and well-being of their families and themselves. We all want that. It's in the Declaration. We're all supposed to have that. Yet, because we allow other people to define and dictate the way we live, the way we think, the stuff we eat, all of those things, because we allow others that are less capable of teaching or educating the likes of us, we suffer through their programs. We suffer the blind hand. We allow laws to get passed and don't oppose them, regardless of if we agree with them or not, because we feel that law is all. And that's a whole nother thing. The law is there is very related excuse me, politics and religion is very related. The law and religion is very related. They work hand in hand together, almost to the point where you would think that law, those who control law and religion or whatever, created it in order to just keep you in one specific spot, in order to keep you in one frame of mind where you can't escape and you do anything to please your God, which is the way that they get you or the way that they trap you. Once you start believing that you need what they have, then they got you. once you start believing that no one will provide, that God will not provide, or that you will not be provided with, being that you're doing your part and you're elevating and you're growing and learning and becoming, you have to do all of that. You can't just sit back and, wait for everyone else to get it and then have it come to you that way. We all have to do our work, shadow work, which is the work of the inside. It has nothing to do with anybody around you necessarily. It's all about yourself. Because when you know, or when you understand self, then you know that we are all a part of the same self. Like I said before, with the infinite space, our Father in His image, the infinite Almighty, heaven, space, infinite space, our infinite Father in space, because we are in His likeness, we have to act accordingly in His likeness. Religion, in my opinion, is a handbook for those who need moral guidance because they lack the control mechanism that directs their moral functioning, which is melanin. The more melanin you have, the more control you should have over yourself, unless you're entertaining certain unhealthy advices or vices and things that are not good for you, while also not praying to your ancestors, not worshiping. You don't have to worship your ancestors. You don't have to worship the gods. They are family in a way that just came before us. Once you understand that, then you can understand that it's much easier and it'll come to you much easier thinking of them and asking of them to do things for you as kin. We are one human family. None of us are different other than the content of melanin that we have. It's the only difference. Skin color. That is the only difference in what we are, who we are, for the most part. Of course, we do differ by mind and what we are capable of, but it's only because certain of us or certain people remember or they realize and understand that this is an innate gift, or these are innate gifts: clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, all of those things where you see visions or you're able to predict thoughts and stuff like that. All of those things are innate abilities that we all have. It's just depending on the amount of fog that you keep around you, or the amount of fog you keep within your head. That could be drama. It could be anything like that. Certain energies will disrupt that or take it from you. Certain people that you may have in your energy or in your field of energy may rob you of the energy or spiritual blessings that's supposed to come to you, just being that they are not on the same frequency. They may be, on a very negative frequency or a very low frequency. And as hard as it may be to let them go, eventually it may be the best for the most part. Otherwise, like crabs in a bucket, they'll pull you down. You wouldn't grow, you wouldn't advance. These are all, my ideas, and this is what I think about it. But I didn't mean to get off on a vent. I just wanted to share that story with you guys. Thank you for listening, and I love you all. Continue elevating, and peace. To the next video.